You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, here we are. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know, welcome back to your favorite podcast. You know the name. And as usual, we got the singing mic. Whoa, 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 whoa.
You better.
Would you like some singing mic?
You better have a theme song. Riffin with Griffin. Yeah. Ooh, that's fun.
You like that? It's
Give me a little
funky.
bass. Give me some more bass.
There's nobody here to give you bass. You looking around like there's a band.
I don't know what capabilities you have in this office.
Whoa, 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 whoa. People love the
Hit the note. Hit the note.
All right, everybody. You know this episode.
Give them what they want.
Anjelah Johnson. Okay, we're done. Anyway. The singing mic is always here if you want to grab it. You just got to turn it on.
Okay,
sometimes people make a point and they go, I need to sing that point.
Hey, well, let me tell you, sometimes when people say certain things, it reminds me of a song. Like
Exactly.
Like somebody will just say something hard to get. She's playing hard to get.
Right.
Like a song will pop in my mind.
That's why I want you to grab the singing mic when you're feeling that. You know,
okay, I'll try not
a lot
to
of guests. Yeah.
Knock over the candles, set us on fire.
From the Hangover Candle Company who sent me these. Nice dude. I'll move it
Thank
like that.
you, Hangover Candle Company.
Yeah, the guy's a good dude. You know, so every time I say his name on a thing, there's an Instagram post. But anyway. Hey, everybody. Sorry for the interruption. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you want to see me live, listen, I'm coming to a city near you. Go to erikgriffin.com to check out my tour dates. I know the website's wonky. I'm sick of hearing about it, but you can still check out the tour dates. As of this podcast released, my next date will be out in the Funny Bone in Dayton, Ohio. So make sure you come check me out. And if you want to see if I'm coming to a city near you, erikgriffin.com for tour dates. Please check that out. I want to come see you guys. And thanks for supporting Riffin with Griffin. Now, to get to some business, I got an ad, guys. Haven't even been doing the podcast a year, and I got this great new sponsor. It's called MyBookie. Let's do some business, y'all. I love it. Now, listen, I'm a super Clipper fan. I'm a super Raider fan. And sometimes you want to bet on the game, and I'm all about that. And this is what this side is all about. So so special thanks. A lot of thanks go out to MyBookie for supporting Riffin with Griffin. MyBookie has better bonuses and more prop bets than any other sports book, period. This year, they're hosting the first handicapping super contest. First place is guaranteed to win $100,000, and it's only cost $100 to enter. Visit MyBookie online and use the promo code Riffin to create your account to claim the bonus. I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. But anyways, first of all, let's do this. Welcome to the podcast. The very funny, who I've known for so many years.
So many.
The talented Miss Anjelah Johnson.
Hello.
Okay, so you're here. We did all that. Good to see you. Thanks for coming to
Pleasantries. Okay.
I know. Let's get to it. You know why I thought of having you on the podcast?
Why?
Is because I was on YouTube and your video came up and it was like 10 years. Mm-hmm. It was like, I said, oh my God, that was 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, and like the things have changed. Yep. Like the algorithms have changed. Like I think I really think that you were the original go viral.
I want to agree with you and say, at least out of comedy and stand-up, for sure. And I'm not talking about comedy in the sense of like a cat doing something funny or a dog, like whatever.
Like a stand-up comedian.
An actual stand-up comedian, I would agree with you, but I'm not going to like go on record saying that for a fact because I have not done research on that, nor do I care to do research on that.
I know, because who cares?
But I do remember when this brand new thing called YouTube came out and my video went viral pretty much immediately.
Yes, and I remember that because I remember like, oh, you're doing comedy. She was with the Raiders and all this stuff, and everybody's like, you know, but I think that was in the golden age of, and I know what you mean about the echo, but don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine.
Okay.
It's just because because now I hear it a little bit, but I'm doing this all by myself. So you nerds out there that keep sending me resumes to be I get resumes in the mail.
They're listening and they're going, ooh, he need help.
Yeah, because I say it. I'll be like, oh man, I'm doing this, or somebody will say something and I'll be like, yeah, but trust me, it's fine. It's gonna sound great. You know,
if somebody wants to intern though, listen, we don't have any salary positions open just yet, but if you down for an internship,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You be trying to learn, learn some ins and outs of the industry.
And
Come
teach me
through.
the ins and outs about sound and everything. But I think back then YouTube was new.
Yeah.
But the thing about YouTube also was they didn't realize they weren't trying to capitalize on it yet. They weren't trying to control it.
No.
So it was like a wildfire that could just go. And that's
right.
what happened with that, So, you had this famous nail salon bit. And here's the thing about it is I remember at the time, like the haters would hate, you got 1 million girls going, I got a nail salon bit. Well, it's like, you didn't put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? So
when I first wrote that joke, here's the thing. I started stand-up comedy by taking a free joke writing class in a church. That's how I started doing stand-up comedy. I'm not even joking. It was Tuesday nights at the Oasis Church. No curse. And that's my act today. So let me let's touch on cursing after this point right here. Cool. So I took this free joke writing class at a church, and I remember it was being taught by a comedian who I came and I said, I have this nail salon character that I do, and I think I could make that into a joke. And she was like, nail salon jokes are so hacky. Everybody has a nail salon joke. I would just steer clear from doing a nail salon joke. And I was like, yeah,
little did she know.
I was like, I don't think anybody does it the way I do, so I'm just going to try it anyways. And then thank God I did, because it ended up blowing up. And it's funny because now people, not lately, but I remember I would get it for a while. People go, oh, so-and-so's doing your nail salon joke. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're doing a nail salon joke because many people go to nail salons. Like, I don't own
the same thing.
Nail salon jokes, y'all. I don't own them. I just do my own story of what I have experienced. And it just so happens that a lot of people have experienced what I have.
But see, I'm not even trying to touch on that part of it, because that's neither here nor there in terms of that. Like, who cares about that? Everybody. It's like if somebody's talking about driving or going to the DMV.
I got spanked when I was a kid.
Right. We all got same experiences. What I'm really referring to or talking about with you is the fact that that was like the golden age of YouTube. They just didn't know what they had.
Right.
And so then here you put this thing, like you say, you put it on the internet.
Here's the thing. I didn't though.
Oh, you did?
I did not put it on YouTube.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's
so
incredible.
I had no idea. Let me tell you, somebody has made a lot of money off of me, because it's not me. I don't
know if they were monetizing back then, but it's maybe now they are.
Well, okay, let me tell you what it is. So I got offered to do 10 minutes at the Ice House, and this company, who I'm not going to say their name because for certain reasons, but they said, come do your 10 minutes and we'll pay you $25 and we're going to record it. And this is before YouTube came out. We're going to record it and it'll be comedy clips people can download on their phone, like flip phones.
Oh, I remember that.
And they'll pay $1.99 for some comedy clips. That's what they're about. They're going to charge people $1.99 for comedy clips on a flip phone, right? So like, come, here's your $25. We recorded your 10 minutes. Great. Well, then next thing you know, this brand new thing called YouTube comes out. So they go and they change and they take all that content that was going to be for flip phones and they put it on YouTube. So they own that they own that material, they own that video footage.
Right.
And so that video footage went viral and made lots of money. So I signed away that footage. So whoever owns it, they're the ones that make money because they own it.
Oh, those bastards. Well, but I mean, thank you.
Yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you for putting it out there. I appreciate it.
Same thing happened to Russell Peters.
Also, you're welcome for all the millions of dollars you probably have.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's so it's like, so now I don't know if that kind of thing is possible anymore. Just the way they have all these algorithms and analytics,
right?
And how they decide who gets to see what. Like back then, it was just like, it was just like you share it. It's
right.
Like it was just being shared.
You share it, and if there's a commercial on it, then maybe you don't watch it. But like that's what it is now.
Yeah,
but back then, there were no commercials.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like they really figured out what they had, and so it's like. But I always think back to that when I saw that. I was like, man, it's the 10-year anniversary of like the thing that like. Do you count that as the thing that sort of changed your comedy trajectory?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 2007 was the year that changed my life. Let me tell you what happened. I had nothing in my life at the time. Okay. I was an extra on TV, and then I lost that gig, and now I'm on unemployment. I have no job. I have no agent. I have no auditions, no opportunities, nothing in my life saying you're on the right track, keep going. And a year prior, I had filmed that thing at the Ice House. And so it's now January 2007. I have no money. I'm considering going back home because everything in my life is like, well, you tried, but it didn't work out. So now go back home.
And home is in
San Jose.
San Jose.
Yeah. So I end up staying in LA, and I stayed for 2 reasons. One, because I felt like God was not done with me yet. Like, it was one of those, like, even though my circumstances were saying like, you failed, I just felt like a gut check in my spirit. And everybody, you call it whatever you want, your intuition, your God talking to you, your higher self knowledge, whatever you want to call it. I had that gut check in my spirit that I felt was God telling me, I'm not done with you yet. Like, don't give up. I know it looks bad now, but don't give up. That, and my sister would send me gift certificates to the grocery store so that I could eat food. She would send me money to pay my rent.
That's called family food stamps.
Yes. I was on the family food stamp program for a real long time.
Mom and dad of the government.
Yes. And what happened was I ended up staying, and this video comes out from January to February 2007. There's like 4 million views on this video. And I start getting, this is in MySpace days. Okay.
Yeah.
So I start getting messages on MySpace from people all over the world. Hey, when are you coming to perform in Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, all over the United States? When are you coming to perform here? We saw your nail salon video. And I had 12 minutes of material at the time because I just wrote jokes in a free class. I had no desire to be a comedian.
Right.
It was just a thing I was doing for fun, and because it was free. And the next thing you know, my spot gets blown up and everybody's like, oh, come perform here. And so I end up writing more material. And what happened is I get an agent, right? Yeah. I start getting messages from all these network executives, assistants, because nobody knew how to get a hold of me because I didn't have an agent yet, right? So I would get a message on MySpace that was like,
hilarious.
Yes, it was like, hey, I'm the assistant to so-and-so at NBC, at CBS, at all these networks. And they're like, they want to meet you because they saw the nail salon video. So by March, I ended up meeting with like everybody in Hollywood. And by May, I had auditioned for Mad TV and booked it. And then throughout the summer, I ended up writing more material because I'm like, well, comedy clubs want me to come and perform there. So let me write more jokes. So by the end of the year, I was touring as a comedian and I was headlining, and I had written to at least 45 minutes of material, and I would just put up like 4 or 5 comics ahead of me to like fill up the show hours, you know? And but that's how it went in 2007. Nothing to my name in January. No opportunities, no money. To the end of the year, I was on Mad TV. I was touring as a comedian, and my life had completely changed. And this video went viral and blew up my spot.
Wow. That's like the story that like what everybody wants to do now. Anybody that puts a video on YouTube, well see, actually, this is the launch of what influencers are now.
Right.
You know, so it's like, but you went into actually a specific career, which is stand-up comedy. But then you cut to 4 years later. Right. And then it was like, oh, this is something. Yeah. Then they started making Vine and then, videos on Instagram, and like all these things started to happen. And then now it's a whole, I'm saying that what you did sort of launched the industry in comedy, because that's what you have now. When you see these influencers, like I had Amanda Cerny on here, you know? Yeah. And she started a similar type of thing where she was like, I'm doing videos. And next thing you know, I have 25 million followers.
That's insane.
You know what I mean?
That is insane.
It's crazy. So it's like, it's just one of those things that like, we all trying to capture the magic. Look, I'm doing a podcast and I'm thinking like at any time, one of these could be the one where people go, I really want to watch this guy. Or it just could be this slow build that it's just like, I have a little section of fans, and that's all that it is.
Right. You never know who's watching, who's listening, what's going to be the one. Like, it's just a matter of us showing up each day. You show up to do your job. You show up and be present in the moment. You show up and be creative. You show up and be the best version of yourself. You operate in your highest self. You show up and do the work to get rid of the things that are holding you back. And sometimes those things look like self-doubt, insecurity, and how do you confront those things in your life? And it's about showing up for yourself.
Yes, it is. Look at you. And then like I said, you've always been clean. When did you make that choice where you're like, I want to be a clean comic? Or it wasn't even a choice like that. It was just like, this is who I am.
It was not even a choice.
That's what I'm saying. All right.
It was, this is who I am. Now it's a choice. Yes. Let me explain. So early on when I started, I was very conservative in my life, in my faith, in my just super Krish, like very Christian girl, you know what I mean? And like would not drink alcohol, like nothing. And I have evolved as a woman in my faith, in just in my life, period. And certain things that I felt were bad or taboo or whatever, I don't necessarily feel the same way anymore. Like I don't feel like if I say,
what kind of things?
Like I don't feel like if I say a cuss word, I'm going to hell.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like it's, so now though, here's my thing now is I have branded myself a certain way.
Right.
So I have a loyal fan base that is used to, they expect a certain something from me, a certain product from me. Like when you go to Burger King, you know what you're getting. When you go to Taco Bell, you know what you're getting. Like you don't want to go to Taco Bell and all of a sudden they're like, oh, we serve hamburgers now. And you're like, oh.
Even though they do that.
What? I was coming for tacos. That's weird. So I'm at this place where I love the fact that people can bring their kids to my show and they feel okay bringing their kids. People can bring their grandparents to my show and they feel okay bringing their grandparents. Right. They don't have to feel like embarrassed if I start talking about a certain topic or if I'm dropping F-bombs and they're like, oh no, Granny's offended. We shouldn't have brought her. Like I don't play to the kids in the audience and I don't play to the grandparents. I play to myself.
Okay, but you just have an act that is universal for,
exactly.
For all ages.
Exactly.
I like
so I keep it that way for them. And I tell you who, like, I love how like Brian Regan can work completely clean.
The minutia of that guy. Man.
And then Jim Gaffigan, who works clean, and then he can drop an F-bomb every now and then. Yeah. But he still hasn't lost his fan base. Like, it just keeps growing and growing. I feel like eventually I would like to veer from Brian Regan territory to Jim Gaffigan territory, where it's going to be a clean show, but every now and then you might get a little curse here and there.
Do you feel like if you curse, the whole crowd's going to go,
maybe. Yeah. Maybe like 50-50. 50-50 of the crowd. Like, some will leave and be like, I'm going to pray for you. And then the others will be like, not even notice it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Like, you do talk about being Christian a lot. Even in this conversation, you've said it like a few times. Now, is that from your family? Have you always been a woman of faith?
Well, we didn't grow up like in childhood going to church or anything. It wasn't really until my parents got divorced that we started going to like youth group and stuff like that, which at the time youth group saved my life and has helped shaped who I am today. And there's certain things that I take from my childhood, from my background of faith, that I apply to my life. And I say, this is a principle that I live by. And then there's other certain things where I go, you know what? I don't know that I stand by that anymore, and let's just move forward. And it's like little things like this that we're talking about, just evolving.
No, that's dope. I mean, I appreciate that. Like, some people are religious, some people aren't, some people are people of faith, or some people are like, I'm spiritual, I'm not, whatever it is like that. But it's like, the core of it is like, I want to live a good life. I want to be a nice person. I want to treat people well. I want to represent myself well. So even taking religion out of it, living like that, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Totally. And it's like, I used to be the person back in the day where if somebody said, oh, I'm spiritual and I just want to be a good person. Like back then, old school Anjelah would be like, well, that's not enough. You have to have Jesus. Like it has to be. I get that you're spiritual, but it has to be Jesus. Like that's how in my teenage years and early 20s, it was like, okay, that's great that you're spiritual. And I feel like now I'm at a place where I just am like, listen, guys, God is real. I feel, and there's some people who are like, no, there's no such thing as God. And that's cool to you. That's your belief. I feel like God is real. And if I can encourage someone to get reconnected with themselves and with God, and some point all of a sudden wake up and realize like, whoa, like God is so big in my life. And whether you say Jesus or not, I would just love to encourage people to reconnect with your creator in whatever way that works for you. And then for those who are like, I don't have a creator, then this doesn't apply to you. You know, like
y'all going to hell.
Take it or leave it.
No, that's dope. I like that. So you're originally from San Jose. I know that because every time you go to San Jose, you sell out 85 weekends in a row. Yeah. You know, Anjelah Johnson's here for 7 weeks straight.
A residency.
Yeah, you're the only one with a residency in San Jose.
I have a residency at the Improv. That's funny.
Yeah. Did you? I know you wanted to be like an R&B singer.
No, I did not.
I remember you said that one. No, you lying. Because you told me you were like, I'm working on my album. I remember that.
Bon Quiqui. Yes, she came out with a full-on album.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, but Anjelah, I never thought like, oh, I'm going to come out with my own. Actually, now I do think about it, but back then I didn't. But my character, Bon Quiqui, she came out with an album. She got signed to Warner Brothers Records and came out with a full-on comedic hip-hop album. She has songs like I'ma Cut You. She came out
this is where the thing comes out right now, all the songs.
Exactly. Her Christmas album, she came out with a Christmas EP called Merry Hoodmas. Her hit single was called Deck the Hose. And so, yeah, that she has music videos and songs and all that.
So that's another thing that actually that leads us into that because it's like, okay, so you had the so the Nail Salon bid, it blew you up, and then
right.
like Mad TV, then it was like this character,
Bon Quiqui, yeah,
this character that was like
unreal.
Was there ever a time that you felt like the character was like overtaking everything?
All the time.
Oh, really? Tell me how that felt.
So I feel like for a while I built her brand, and that was good. It was a great season of my life. I got to tour as this character with a live band and backup dancers, and like it was an amazing, fun show that I got to be a music artist. I got to be like ghetto Beyonce for a little while, and it was so fun. And
you could just say Beyonce.
You're so stupid. I was like hood rat version of Beyonce, and it was a really great experience. But it got to a point for me where I wanted to grow in other areas of my life. And being an actress, not playing that character. But the more I would build her brand, the more I felt kind of stuck in her brand. So I had to just kind of put her on the back burner for a little while and grow me in other areas that I wanted to grow, and I'm still trying to grow.
You know, I just had Frank Caliendo on the podcast, and he was similarly talking about like trying to break away from just being the guy that does impressions,
right?
You know, and it was just really interesting to hear him like just talk about like, you know, because you know he became very wealthy because of that, and it was like, how do I go away from that? Can I go away from
right.
that? I mean, were you like, so was there moments where you're like, well, am I more? You decided I am more than this. You know,
right?
This chick is gonna go away. You know, you're like, Bon Quiqui dead. She was in a car accident, and then now you.
Yeah, I keep telling everybody she's on vacation.
Yeah.
So if I do like radio interviews or whoever, and everybody wants to talk about Bon Quiqui, I say she's on vacation, and then I redirect to something about me. Like, this is my time now.
Right.
Bon Quiqui, she's not here right now.
Yeah, so that must have been okay because it's a war because it's like, you know, the one is really paying the bills and making life great, and then but you're like, but hey, I can do this too.
Right, totally. And it's the same thing with my material, like this nail salon joke. Like, I know that I'm more than this joke.
Right.
But every show that I do, people want to hear that joke. And so at first I would fight it, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so tired of this joke. I don't want to have to do this for the rest of my life. Now I'm at a place where I'm like, I will do this joke for the rest of my life, because it's like a thank you at this point. It's like, this joke made me who I am today. This joke is what bought me my house. This joke is what keeps my family afloat. And so I'm not just going to abandon it. And also, I know that this joke brings joy to a lot of people. And if I'm really about what I say I'm about, which is bringing joy to people. Yes, it's about my career and elevating to the next level and getting, you know, more money, more success, more just elevate, next level. Yes, all of that. plays a part of it. But at the end of the day, the reason why I get on stage and tell a joke is because I want to connect with another human being in the audience, and I want to bring them joy. And laughter is medicine.
For sure.
And we get to be doctors, basically. We get to travel the world with a prescription, and we bring this medicine to people who need it, who are hurting, whether it's they're going through a divorce, they just lost a loved one, it's stressful times at work, they're doubting themselves, whatever they're dealing with. You come and bring an hour and a half of joy to them. And that's what it's about. And that's what makes it worth getting up at 4 a.m. to go through TSA, to get on a plane that's delayed. And then you sit on the tarmac, and then and now you missed your sound check because your flight was delayed. And then you have to rush there. And you have to do a meet and greet with like 50 people. And it's just like you want to like eat something. You want to take a nap because you've been up since 3 a.m. and all these things. What makes it worth it is that connection, that human connection, that relationship, which is what makes anything worth it in life.
I totally agree with you. I remember being in Detroit one time, and this guy comes, this was like a few years ago, and then this guy, he walks up to me and says, "Hey man, I just want to thank you for coming. I lost my job 3 weeks ago and I needed this tonight." And I was like, thank you for coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're somebody, you lost your job, and you're like, whatever little money you have, you spent on this ticket to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or just like, even if it wasn't to buy a ticket, even if they let him in free and he's buying drinks and whatever. Yeah. It's like, so you used me as your way to like feel better. I mean, that's like I know what you're saying. I feel like you have this sense of responsibility now.
For sure.
Instead of a feeling of like that a lot of performers have of entitlement.
Right.
There is a time when we feel like I deserve to be.
Hey, and I'm not saying I'm immune to that either. Like,
none of us are immune to it.
There's seasons, there's phases, there's days, there's whatever it may be. It could be as simple as you're operating out of this place of like gratitude and whatever. And I'll just speak in my voice, my terms. Like, let's say I get to a city and I'm going to go do a show, and I'm remembering why I woke up so early, and I'm like, okay, it's about the fans. And I just met somebody in the lobby who gave me one of those stories about I just lost fill in the blank. I'm so happy to be here. And then that makes you feel like, yeah, I'm doing something with purpose. This is awesome. This is why I do what I do. And then you open up your phone and you start scrolling, and then you see your friend that just booked a movie. You see your friend that just got a new TV show. Yeah. You see your friend that just sold her next hour. You see your friend that is now has like 5 million followers. You see like all these things. And then you can easily slip right back into, man, I work hard too. I should have that. I should blah, 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 blah. And then you slip back into this entitlement zone, and that is not productive. Nothing productive comes out of entitlement. It's about switching your perspective and getting back, realigning. Alignment is such a powerful word. What are you aligning yourself with? And so it's in those moments where I can find myself caught in that circle and have to realign and refocus and be like, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? My journey, my lane, stay focused, put your blinders on, stay focused on what's ahead of you, because that's what matters.
Yeah. And it can be hard. I mean, it's like, I know even like I'm doing this podcast game now, right? Mm-hmm. So then I see all these other people doing podcasts, and it's hard not to focus on like, how come I don't have that many followers and he started at the same time as me? Or how come this person this and that and that? And you just like, but then it's like, then you have these moments where like yesterday I have a P.O. box. I went to my P.O. box and I got this card and it says private. And I was like, okay. First, I'm thinking like, is it gonna be some titties? You know what I mean? I was like, no. But you know what it was? It was this nice card with a nice note from somebody, and said to me, because I sing a lot on the thing, and I sing on my gaming things, and they're like, please, they sent me $100, and it said, this is for your album fund. Please start this album fund. And then this long letter about like, I love your show because, it just helps me and all these kind of things. And I go, okay, oh yeah, that's why we're doing this. Yep. It's like the special connection that you get with even just the one person like if you're watching right now and you enjoy watching me and the interactions I have with my guests, and I go, I get you. I know you're out there and I appreciate you. And it's like, that's the thing. It's just, but we're always like, we live in this business that's a results business.
Yes.
So we're always looking at like, it's like, all right, there's no finish line, but we keep seeing rewards that we're like, oh, I want that reward. But it's like, I'm not on that race.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you. To the point where I remember one time I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw two of my friends at the time had posted that they were directing an episode of their show that they were on, or someone else's show, right? And I remember thinking in my mind, like, man, see, that's what I'm supposed to. I should be directing an episode. Like, I want to direct an episode, but I'm not even on a TV show to direct an episode. And then I had to pause for a second, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, Anjelah. When in your life have you ever wanted to be a director? You do not want to be a director.
You say, oh, I know when. It was 2 minutes ago when I saw
somebody else doing it. And I had to check myself, and I'm like, wait. I don't want to be a director. It's just that looks like clout. That looks like success. That looks like I'm winning. That looks like I'm doing it. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, yeah, then I got to be a director too. And I was like, wait, no, I don't want to be a director. I don't care. Like, I want to be an actor. Like, I'm still trying to get on a TV show. I don't need to be a director. But it's so hard sometimes to stay focused on your own lane and what you're doing and be able to celebrate your friends. And I can honestly say that when I see my friends succeed, it makes me happy, and I cheer them on and I promote them and I say, hey, my friend has a new TV show. Everybody go watch it. My friend is doing this, and I can do that without resentment. I can do it without any kind of motive behind it other than celebrate my friend, because I believe that there is room for all of us. And right now it's that person's season. It's their yes right now. So let's celebrate their yes in faith that one day I'll have a yes too. But right now it's their yes. So we can celebrate them. Just because they got a yes doesn't mean they took away your yes. They just have their own.
But isn't it funny too, though, that like while you're in your lane doing your thing, achieving certain things, it's crazy because there's still people in other lanes going, I want to do it.
Yep. There's somebody looking at you right now going, how come Erik got a podcast? Like, who taught him how to set up his sound gear and all that? And then little do they know, nobody done taught you. Can't you hear the echo? Like, is he figuring it out?
There's no echo on the thing, woman.
Okay.
Damn it. There ain't no damn echo on this. Hello. Sorry to interrupt, guys, but I got to do some business and talk to you once again about my bookie. This football season is going to be one of the best ever. Antonio Brown's with the Raiders, Le'Veon Bell's with the Jets, Odell Beckham is with Cleveland. Look, I'm putting my money down on a lot of games, and I don't always want to go someplace to do it. You can do it right from your hand. My bookie is the place to bet on football every single weekend. And they have a handicapping contest, and the first place is guaranteed to win at least $100,000, and it only costs $100 to enter. All you got to do is pick 5 NFL games against the spread every week to climb the leaderboard and score your share of the huge cash prize pool. Listen, I'm not telling you to bet all your money. Make sure you bet responsibly. But if you are going to bet, MyBookie is the place to go. I would recommend the service to all my listeners. It's been good to me. That's why MyBookie is always the right play. You bet, you win, they pay. MyBookie has live in-game betting on every NFL game. They've got the most rewarding player perks in the business. And for your fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each week. Now, that's absolutely my favorite part about MyBookie, because I've been playing fantasy sports for like 20 years, and like, you want to support the real team, you want to cheer for the real team, so now you can bet on the real team, and you can also bet on your team. Bet how many fantasy points you're going to get, how many fantasy points each player is going to get, over under. So now it just makes the whole football experience, even better. It's fun. I love MyBookie. Up to $1,000 first deposit bonus. Double your first deposit. Use promo code Riffin to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie, MyBookie.com. And don't forget to use the promo code Riffin when creating your account to claim the bonus. Guys, bet, win, get paid. Now, let's get back to the podcast, and I hope you're enjoying it. And don't forget, my bookie, Riffin on their code. Oh, that's funny. You know what's? I always think that's weird about you. Is that a weird way to say it?
What's weird about me?
I never see you in the comedy scene.
Hilarious.
Why
I know.
is that?
No, that is weird. Anxiety, insecurity, fear, and exhaustion.
There it is. There isn't a more honest answer than that. Mm-hmm. All those things I still feel, and I'm in the comedy scene, so I totally get what you're saying. But it's like, I was just so curious to me. It was like, because then you become this enigma. You become this like, you're out here. It's like, oh, she started on some different path, and then she's off on her own doing her thing. She never comes to the improv, never comes to the comedy store, never comes to the Laugh Factory. It's like it's like you're outside of the brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have not resent is not the word. I have hoped. There's times when I look back and I go, man, I wish I was a part of the club. I wish I was there hanging out with all the other comics and like making friends, and like I'll see pictures of like Adam Sandler back when he was coming up, and it's like him and Sarah and all them, and it's like I wish I could have a photo when I'm older of like back when we used to just hang out at the club.
Right.
And I don't, because of those things that I said, because I have let those things hold me back from coming and investing in that. And also, I mean, there's a couple of things. Like, I can lean on this as an excuse, but there's also some validity to what I'm about to say. When I get home, like I'm on the road so much, when I get home, I have a few days off. I want to spend that with my friends who I never get to see, my niece and nephew that I never get to see. I want to invest in like normal things, like go grocery shopping with my husband, go on a date night with my husband. So I don't want to be in the comedy club when I just came from doing so many comedy shows all across the country. So there's part of that. Like I'm here 3 days. I don't want to be there. I want to be with my family and what truly matters to me, like relationship with those who are gonna be there for me when I'm having a rough day, when I'm sad, and when I need $1 because I went broke or something. You know what I mean? Like I want to invest in those relationships, but at the same time, sometimes I lean on that as an excuse. And even if I do have time to get to the club, I'll get nervous and I'll get anxiety and I'll be like, but I don't know anybody.
But what is that though? Like, what are you nervous about? What is the anxiety about?
I haven't made relationships, so I'm nervous that when I get there, like, I don't know the doorman. I don't know whoever is booking this room. I don't know all these other comics, and like I should know them. And then what if I get there and people don't like me? It's that old high school thing of like, what if people don't like me? Yeah. And here I am, like working on
cafeteria by yourself. With your lunch.
Exactly. That's what it feels like. Imagining walking in by yourself, and then everybody turns and looks at you with your tray, and you're like, oh, I'll just go sit over here in the corner then. And it's like I have to work myself up to go. And even like just last week, I went and I did 3 spots. I did the Laugh Factory and 2 at the Improv. And I was texting with Cristela Alonso when I was on my way there. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretending to be a real comic tonight, and I'm going to go do some club spots around town. And she was laughing at me. And I've talked to her about it. I've talked to Eliza about it. And there was times when I would call Eliza because I would watch her go to the club all the time.
Yeah, she's there all the time.
Every off day, she's at the club. And I called her one time. I was like, hey, can I just roll with you one time and just be like your +1 and just like everything? Like I wanted to watch and learn, like just follow you as you walk through the showroom, as you walk through the green room, as you walk through, like, let me just see how you operate in these environments so I could learn, because I never did it. I never hung out at the clubs because I was afraid people didn't like me because my video blew up and I became popular. And so now people were judging me and people were hating on me or whatever
so
it was.
So that did affect you.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. And I let my insecurity and my fear hold me back. And so now I'm at this place in my life where I'm actually trying to just come and show up, and I enjoy it when I'm there, and I see other comics that I never get to see. And like this last weekend I saw Chris D'Elia, and we got to catch up a little bit and see some comics that I haven't got to meet in person, but we see each other on social media. And it's one of those where it's like we think we know each other, but we're like, hey, so nice to finally meet you 15 years later, you know, like, so I'm trying.
Good for you.
Thanks.
I know it's hard, and thank you for like being that vulnerable about, you know, your feelings and stuff, because, you know, it's like that's just, you know, it is being a comic is to be insecure, is to be like, you know, have these like, you know, like we're always like paranoid, you know, like who hates me,
right?
Instead of looking at all the people that it's like a crowd. It's like every comic says this, you know, you got a crowd full of 300 people, 299 of them are laughing, but there's this one person who is just
arms crossed. His friend brought him, and he didn't want to be there.
And then mid joke, they're going like this. Right? And then you're like, I'm going to get that person. It's like, why not just celebrate all these other people who are loving you?
We just fixate on the one person who is not having a good time. And I remember there was this one time in a show, I saw this guy, and he was having the worst time right in the front.
Of course.
He was having the worst time of his life, but his wife that he came with was having the best time. And I felt so bad for her, because you know how when you go and you experience something, you want to share it with people. So like somebody says something funny, you want to look to your friend and be like, oh my God, was that not just the funniest thing you heard? And she kept doing that to her husband. She would be laughing and look over at him, and he was having the worst time. And she'd be like,
I hate that.
I was broken for her.
Like, you know, for me, like if I go to a movie and like I'm moved, let's say, because this happened to me. I went to go see Karate Kid, the remake, with Jaden Smith. And there's this great scene where Jackie Chan beats up the car. And he has this like, I was like, it was his Oscar moment. You know what I mean? I'm crying.
Yes, let it out.
I look over at my friend that I went with, and he just is like, nothing. And I'm like, are you a soulless monster? You're not moved by what's happening to Jackie Chan right now?
What happened to you as a child?
Yeah, his family died in an accident, and he's dealing with this thing right now, and you're just going to sit here like nothing's happening? And he just didn't get it. And I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I don't know if I could be friends with somebody that isn't moved by the things I'm moved by, or at least understands why I'm moved by it. Because that is so awkward. So here's somebody in the front row trying to enjoy themselves, and then they looking over at they, and that person's just like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Oh, I felt real bad for her, and I had to purposely change my focus from him, because I was doing that thing that you say where we try to like, there's that one person,
I'm gonna get him,
and I'd be like, ooh, this next joke right here, he gonna for sure laugh at this one. Watch, honey. And I give it, and I look at him, and he's still not laughing. And I'm like, damn. And then it starts messing with my head. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just forget about this dude. And then I switched my focus to her, and I was like, giving it to her, like, you poor thing, like your partner, he don't even want to like be celebrating the fact that you are experiencing
I'm
joy
glad
right
you
now.
acknowledge that, because that always helps. That always makes that person kind of go, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, you know, what did he do? Did he react?
Well, okay, so I talked to him after the show, right? So it wasn't during the show. Like I
find out she cheated on him and he's mad.
Right, some had to happen. But so after the show, they came through the meet and greet. And he was all smiles, like lit up, and she comes in, gives me a hug, and he like shakes my hand. He was like, "Man, that was a great show." And I was like, "You liked it?"
Yeah,
And he was like,
"Can your face like it?"
And I was like, "Cause you look like you were having the worst time the entire time." Oh, haha, like just kind of like laugh it off, and now they feel awkward or something.
Yeah.
Because maybe he was having the worst time, and he's just faking it for this picture that we're about to take.
Right.
Or he just like has a horrible face, and that's just what his like. I have RBF sometimes, like resting bitch face. I have that real bad. People think I hate them, and I'm like, no. This is just what my face looks like.
I know what you mean.
So I'm like, maybe he just had some real strong RBF going on. I don't know.
All right, let's pivot. So not going to the clubs, not necessarily being in the comedy scene. I don't know if how was your experience going through Me Too how it affected your comedy, how it affected your life. I mean, it's like have you know, because like as a male comic, I felt like, damn, I can't stand being lumped in with everybody. I can't stand being like, okay, you're a male comic, so then that means, you know, it's like as if we were divided and it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you think comedy has changed? You know, are we more thoughtful? Are we more considerate? Or like, you know, or is it like as a female comic, are you like, well, this is what we've been dealing with. Now y'all finally see.
Let me tell you a story that happened to me one time when I was first coming up as a young comic. I was doing this gig in Santa Barbara, was it? Ontario, somewhere, driving on the 101 north, right? And there was like 4 other comics, and the guy who booked me for it, I saw him at, remember 3 of Clubs, when there used to be a night like Monday nights at 3 of Clubs or something like that, right? Well, I would go up there often, and I met this guy there who was very nice, and he got a private party, somebody's birthday party, and he needed to book like 3 or 4 comedians, and he is like, do you want to do it? Yeah, sure. You can roll with me and my fiance. You can come with us and we'll drive out there. Perfect. Let's do that. Right. And again, like, I'm brand new. I'm still like insecure. Like, I'm trying to pretend I know how this comedy world works, but like, yeah, sure. I'll go do like a road gig with you. Fun. Right. And last minute, hey, my fiance is getting off of work late, so I have to wait with her, but I'm going to send you ahead with this other comic. I had never met this guy before, but I'm trying to be like down. Like, this is what comedians do. We like roll together, and that's what we do. So I go, and our deal was like I was parking at his house, and we were going to roll in his car and drive there. So I park at his house, and there was no parking like right in front of his apartment. It was way down the street. And anyways, that's a detail I'm going to come back to later on. So I'm rolling with him to this private party, somebody's backyard, and it's just, we're talking and whatever it is, and we get to this party. I go up first. I do my jokes. It's a good reception. Everybody laughs. Good time. He goes up after me. His whole opening, like 5 minutes, is about how he rode to the party with me and he just wanted to jerk off the whole time with me sitting next to him.
So he thought it was funny.
Yeah, he thought it was being funny. He's bombing the whole. Not one person's laughing. Not one person's laughing. Everyone is feeling awkward for me because I just got off stage. Yeah, and he one of those things where like you either abort or you double down. He doubled down and just dug a deeper hole, and was just nasty and very vividly talking about me, and it was just real inappropriate. And I remember feeling violated, feeling like unsafe. I don't even know what to do, and I'm by myself. I don't know anyone here.
Yeah,
and I remember hiding in the kitchen away from all the people. I'm like getting emotional thinking about it. I remember hiding, and the guy who, it was his birthday, he came in the kitchen and he was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like trying to like shake it off. I'm like, "Oh, I'm totally fine." And I had to ride home with that guy in the car. And I remember feeling like real just scared and like, oh my God, I'm so grossed out. Like, I don't even know what to do. And I remember I got on my cell phone and I just kept calling friend after friend the whole drive home. It was like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I remember just whenever that person had to hang up, I would hang up and I would call somebody else just so I could not have to look at him or talk to him or anything. And when we got to his apartment, again, like I said, I was not parked anywhere near his apartment because there was no parking. I was way down the street. And there was a parking spot for him right in front of the apartment that he could have taken, but he didn't take it. He was like, "Oh, no, I'll just trade spots with you." And I was like, "But I'm way far away from your apartment. Just take that one." And he's like, No, it's totally fine. Right. And he was trying to keep me in the car longer. And so he finally drops me off at my car and I go to get out and he goes, "Hey, so do you want to come up?"
I'm not in touch with reality.
And I was dumbfounded. Are you, what? And I was just like, no, I don't.
Yeah, what are you supposed to say?
And I rushed into my car and I just got out of that situation because honestly, like, I don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
And it was just inappropriate and it was violating and it was not fair and it was not okay. But he thought, like, in the name of comedy, like, I could do that. Like, it's just comedy. It's just jokes. You're a comic. You should be able to handle it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And stuff like that it's not okay.
If you had to do it differently, would you have responded to him differently? Or, like, what do you think in that situation? Like, not to say this is not your fault at all.
Right.
I'm not, I'm just saying, so if anybody else is in a situation like this, or like, what would you think you would have done differently?
Speak up. But in that moment, I, like, my personality type, I don't like confrontation at all. Right. So there may be a lot of women or men out there that are like, I don't like confrontation. Let me just ignore it, like what I did. Let me just get on the phone and ignore it.
Yeah.
Like, now if I could do things differently, I mean, who knows? Like, I didn't have a ride home.
Right.
It was
I understand.
It's before the days of Uber. And even then, like, a 2-hour Uber, I'm a broke. I'm obviously doing, like, this gig for $50. You know what I mean? So it's like, I didn't have much choice at that point. And then if I do call him out and be like, how dare you, woo, 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 and then get in the car with him, what if he just pissed off and then left me there? Like, it's so many things. Like, what could I have done differently? I don't know.
Well, I guess I'm asking that just to point out the point that, like, you know, in some cases you did the best thing you could do to feel safe, and it was like there's nothing you could do. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Not get a ride home?
Right.
There's some guy that's stronger than me. It's like, so this is the feeling that I'm starting to realize. I'm seeing is like, you know, because, like, you know, from a different perspective, it's like, yeah, you're just a small girl and you're in a car with some guy you don't even really know, who just was, like, completely inappropriate, and then now you're like, I just got to get home to my car so I get the hell away from this person. And so that was like, without the guy even touching you or anything like that, was like equivalent to, you know, just the one of the worst experiences you've experienced in comedy. So it's like, damn.
And here I am years later.
And it still affects you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I see that, you know, eye opener. You know what I mean? I mean, for me, it's like, you know, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'3", whatever it is. So it's like, I don't even know the effect that I might have.
Right.
You know, that's the thing that you don't realize. I mean, as a guy, I'm just admitting that to myself. This is just me speaking for me. Is like, I don't know what I might say or do that makes somebody uncomfortable. I'm the kind of person that you could be like, yo, that made me uncomfortable. And I'd be like, oh, man, shit, I didn't realize that.
Right.
I wish more people were like that. But at the same time, I totally understand why you're sitting here being like, how am I going to tell you?
Right.
You know, like, I don't know if I'm, you know, you're you know, who knows how you might react.
Right.
Like that. So it's like, wow, well, there it is, guys, you know.
So to answer your question, I don't know. I feel like with my material, I never was talking about anything that the Me Too movement would have shifted what I talk about. But
I'm saying it has affected. I guess that's more for guys. Like, for me, I always feel like I liked it because it made me more thoughtful. Made me be like, okay, if I want to talk about this and say this, that means I have to, like, find a way to still say what I want to say, but not come across whatever it is. But you can't win for losing, though. It doesn't even matter. Right. But at least you try to cover yourself. You know what I mean?
And there's no outline. There's no recipe. Yeah. There's no, this is the right way to do it. And it's a shifting time that we're in. So it's like, I feel like I have grace for people as we are shifting and learning. And I have grace for men who are learning, like, oh, this is actually inappropriate. And for those who want to learn, because there's some guys that can be like, nah, you're just too sensitive. Like, some guy could be hearing that story that I just said, and they're like, so what's wrong with that? You're just too sensitive. It's just a joke. And that's where they're at. And so they don't have a desire to, like, evolve and play fair or anything like that. But for someone who is like, my bad, I didn't know that was offensive. Yeah. I'm not going to do that anymore. I have grace for that person. I'm not going to try to ruin that person's life and be like, they should never be hired on any TV show ever again. Like, I'm not in the business.
You're not part of cancel culture?
I'm not trying to cancel people, but I do want to educate.
Well, just in comedy in general, I feel like this. I'm fine with saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you are offended," as long as there's some from you to say, "I know you didn't mean offense." That's what we're missing. And sometimes in people's conversation, like about jokes, about anything, where it's like, they just go, oh, they judge you based off, you might say something in your act and they'll be like, oh my God, you're a racist.
Right.
It's like, excuse me, this is the environment for jokes and saying things that are like inappropriate or pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Or like, so if you can't understand that that's the environment for that, and then you could come back and be like, okay, that just wasn't my cup of tea.
Right.
But it shouldn't be like I'm now judged, so harshly. I mean, you're not to say that what happened to you, it doesn't necessarily apply to that, because this is just somebody with no self-awareness.
Right.
Of like the thing. Because even if you would have done that, I mean, even if you would have said that and you get this reaction from the crowd, it's like you're not reading that this isn't going well.
That's what I'm saying.
and then the other thing too is like, you're in the car not trying to talk to me. Like I'm the kind of person I'd be like, oh shit, somewhere I messed up here. Hey, because I remember going on a triple run. You never even did triple runs. You just skipped all the stuff. That's why people mad at you.
So mad.
You didn't go through what I had to go through.
Right. What dues did you pay?
Yeah, you should have struggled. No, but it's like, it is what it is. We have our struggles at our different times. But
right.
So you drive around Montana.
Okay.
So there was this female comic. I forgot her name. I don't even know if she's around anymore. But anyway, Dave Tripp, the owner of the company, he calls me and says, Erik, this female comic, she wants to do a bunch of triple runs. So I want you to go with her. I want you to like be the headliner and you take her around, And I was like, well, I'm like, well, I mean, I don't want to babysit. Like, in my mind, I'm like, what is this about? But I totally got it when we were on the road.
What's this about? But what she look like though?
No, she was cool. She was pretty.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm saying that's your question that you're asking.
I know. Tell me about the titties. Like, no, but it wasn't like that. It just was like, but then I totally got it because, by the way, I don't feel safe sometimes when I'm on the road. Sometimes I'm at some place and I'm like, I just realized something. I'm here by myself. Anything can happen to me. Who's gonna call? Like sometimes you're at a club, there's no security, there's drunk people acting up, and I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, this can go wrong at any time. So then, okay, I'm thinking, here we are driving 8 hours a day to go to these little crazy towns in Montana. Here's this woman by herself. We're at crazy bars. It's not like clubs. We're doing like the bar. We're doing a show in the bar of a hotel or like a weird. And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, this must be. At the time was the first time I thought, oh, this must be hard to be a woman in comedy.
That's when you realized.
It hit me when I was like, oh, this is probably really uncomfortable. I mean, even if you're with another woman, it's just two women out here, like, like what? Yeah. Like, so, I was like, damn, it's like, that was just an eye opener even back then. So, and then when you hear these experiences, but, it's like, I feel like people need to tread lightly how they talk about it, because they don't seem to like talk a lot about how it affects, people of color. It's like all these people that are talking about it are screaming from the mountains. They always seem to be like, 1% are white women. You know what I mean? And I'm like, there's a lot of other people being affected in different ways that don't have the platform to say whatever the hell they want to say.
All I do is do me to the best of my ability. And I share my truth, my story, my experiences, and how you receive it is on you.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a fantastic job at that. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I mean, I feel like our business is like a marathon, and then these things that we get is those people that have the water while you're running.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. So somebody might have I got a show. Thank you.
Yes.
Keep going. I need some B12. That's like, you got a special. Oh my God.
The next one is like some Gatorade. You thought it was just water. Be like, ooh, a bonus.
Yeah. So it's just like a weird process. You know what I mean? So I know you're married,
Yeah.
Your husband's sitting over here.
That's not my husband.
Oh, that's not your husband?
No.
Oh. I thought you said, no, because I thought.
No, this is Jackie's husband. Jackie's my assistant.
Oh, that's what.
This is her husband.
You confused me. That confused me a lot because I was like, because the way the email said, it was something about.
I'm sending my husband or her husband or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, what? Yeah, okay, this is weird. Okay.
So my assistant is Jackie, and Jackie usually comes with me everywhere.
Send her husband.
But Eddie also works with me as well. They both travel with me.
She got an entourage.
I do. I got my whole crew. But it's funny because any guy that I'm with, people assume that's my husband.
Yeah.
And the one who gets it the most is Mal Hall. Because my husband is Puerto Rican and he has an afro and tall black guy I'm walking with. And then I'm with Mal Hall, tall black guy I'm walking with.
So this must be your husband.
People come in airports, people come up to us all the time and they tell Mal, I love your music. And then he goes, oh, I'm not Manuel. But it's like I'm with Mal all the time. He's been opening for me for years. And so we're just used to it now is people come up to him and
after a while you just go, okay.
They compliment him for his music all the time.
And he just says, thank you.
Yeah. And then my brother gets it. If I'm with my brother somewhere, people always assume he's my husband. And I go, gross, my brother thinks so. Eddie.
Yeah, I was like to say.
Pretty much any guy that I'm with, they're like, oh, nice to meet your husband.
The black, you know what? That's a testament to you. You
what?
know what I mean? It's something that's something people, like, nobody's thinking. They saying, oh, she's with a guy. I know what kind of person she is. So that guy must be her husband. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going like, oh, well, who this, Anjelah? Oh my God, who this dude? Look at her playing on her husband.
Look at her side piece though.
Yeah, nobody thinks it's your side piece. Every guy you're with, that is a compliment to you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? That's a compliment to you because like, she would never be with a man that's not her husband. Oh, that's cool. I don't know. Are you kids in the future or like, what do you like,
I have my child here in his bag right now. Yeah. My little fur baby, who I love with all my heart. And we've always said we didn't want kids, but now I'm getting older. I'm 37, Erik.
Damn.
Right?
Looking good.
Thank you.
37, still looking good.
Snappity step up. There it is. Sing it.
She will be like, first time we go to the singing mic. Still looking good. Woo, 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 woo. People love the woo-woos. I'm known for the woo-woos. I'm known for the woo-woos. Well, that's funny. You know why? I guess I'm bringing it up just to say, like, you when like if you watch the WNBA or any like female athlete, right? You see them and they're doing their female athlete thing, but then they're like, I'm also a woman and I got to put a baby in here. I'm trying to be a mom. Like so when Serena was pregnant and all that kind of stuff. It's like, has like being a family, being a wife and a mom, how has that been? Like if you had those aspirations at the same time as you have your like, I want to be a star. I want to be in movies. I want to be on TV. I still want the Anjelah Johnson show. I still want, you know what I mean?
Yep.
How do you balance that? Because as a guy, thank God we don't got to worry about that.
I know. Lucky y'all.
Yeah, we just get you pregnant and leave.
Yeah, bye. I'll be back. When's the baby due? Okay, I'll be back.
My show.
No, I'm still very much chasing my dreams and not ready to put my dreams to the side to raise a child. And unfortunately I'm getting older, so I would hope that I would have caught those feelings by now,
right?
But I haven't. But I have hope when I look at people like Eva Longoria, who didn't have her first child till she was 40 or 41, right. And even my cousin didn't have her first child till she was 41. So I think like,
what kind of Latina is she?
So I'm just like, maybe I have time and to decide if I want kids later on. But right now, I'm just enjoying my life as it is. And I have my dog, my husband.
But you have a village of people, though. You're not going to be alone.
I do. Listen, my husband and I, we have a house. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. And it's just him and I. So you would think like, oh, that's way too much house for you guys. We have people in that house all the time.
Yeah.
It's like a
That kind of
hotel.
person.
It's a hotel. It's always either my family, his friends coming in for a writing session or a meeting, and so like we have 2 guest rooms. They're always booked out. Like we have a calendar.
You have like a front desk. People are like, oh, welcome to.
At one point, I did print out a little sheet of if you're here, like because sometimes people stay there when we're not there, and we're just like, yeah, you can stay at our house, whatever. And it's like, okay, if you're here on a Wednesday, that's garbage night. Take the garbages out to the street, like full on. This is how it is to like it's an Airbnb.
Yeah, you got a little bed and breakfast.
But I don't know. We have lots of family and friends that we're surrounded by, and it fills our cup for now. So until then,
that's great. So in closing, let me say, so 10 years later, are you happy?
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah,
very grateful. It still blows my mind that people want to hear what I have to say, and they'll pay to hear what I have to say. They'll buy a ticket.
That's the crazy part.
That's nuts. Like that is nuts to me, because it's been 12 years on the road, and I have been fortunate enough to say that it's been 12 years of very successful shows. And I just sometimes I'll stop and I'll look at my career, or I'll look at my life, or I'll just be sitting in the kitchen and I look out the window, out the view, and I think about like, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe that I woke up to drink some coffee, to go to record a podcast later, and that's my life. Like,
yeah.
I'm so
exactly
grateful.
What you mean.
So grateful. So 10 years later, yes, I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm still in awe. I'm still very much like, wow, this is incredible.
That's great. When I really noticed that too is like if it's a friend or a family member or like an acquaintance, and then they're living their life, and they might say like, "What are you doing today?" And you say that, "Well, I'm just getting some coffee. I'm going to do this podcast later. I might go to the dog park. I'm not sure." And they're like, "Lucky," right? Lucky you. I wish my life was so like. And I always have to say, "No, boo boo, it wasn't luck." I did a lot of work to
hustle, hard work, sacrifice.
Here. Right.
And then also, again, in the world of social media or whatever, like people only see the highlight reel. They only see like, so they didn't. So if I post on Instagram today, I went to go get coffee, and I went to go record a podcast, and then I went and I had lunch with my friends, and people could look at that and be like, man, like that's the life right there. They didn't see my anxiety of waking up and looking at my ticket sales for my tour and being like, oh, wow, like people aren't coming. Okay. And they didn't see me getting in an argument with my husband, or they didn't see me like getting the phone call from my agent like, hey, that role you really wanted, you didn't book it, they gave it to somebody else. Like they don't see the rejection, they don't see the sacrifice, they don't see the hurt, they don't see the wounds that we're constantly getting to like get this tough skin so that we can have the freedom to just go record a podcast and go to lunch and come home.
Right. Well said. Well, I wish you all the success.
Thanks. Same to you.
Continued success. Stay on the marathon and keep getting those things. Keep getting it. You know what I mean? That's how it be. And sometimes we'll take a break at the finish line whenever that is. But in the meantime, we can just enjoy this journey.
Yep. Exactly.
Right? Well, guys, make sure you subscribe, like. I want to have all of Anjelah's information on the little description area right there, so you can like find her. And thanks for watching. Please share, subscribe, like, and do all that stuff. Keep listening. I love all the comments, even the haters. Everything makes you better.
Yes.
Right.
Sometimes YouTube is like one of the most evil places. YouTube and Twitter are
no. Reddit is the worst.
Oh, I never even typed that in. I never even typed Reddit in my window in my life.
Reddit is like a weird biker bar.
Oh.
That like only like regulars go, and it's seedy.
Oh, they hate me for sure.
Right. And then when you walk in there, the whole place stops, even the jukebox, and they're looking over you like, what are you doing in here?
And just start breaking about orange. Or who told you orange look good on you? Like, what's that? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what it's like when you step onto your comment section.
Yes, the comment section is brutal. And then sometimes what I do is I'll do a live, like I'll premiere the episode live and then live chat. And it's like, guys, stop it. it. You know what I mean? You know, I got to moderate. I'm putting people on timeout because you can put in the live chat. I said you're gonna be on timeout. Okay.
No way.
Yeah. So I put people on timeout, and it's just so it's crazy. So you probably in the comments right now. So I'm putting you on timeout if you're doing something funky. You know. So be respectful. But
I already hear it. Somebody hates my voice. Somebody, all of it.
I know.
Somebody is like
too sensitive. You know.
Great. Another girl crying.
I
Great.
know. Are they gonna be like, that's her side piece sitting behind the camera?
Yeah.
She brought her dog in her side piece to my podcast. I don't even mind the dog, but the side piece. No. Anyways, you know, she's just a great family person. Thanks for sharing your vulnerability. Thanks for sharing your faith. You know, your story, your honesty. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I've known you for so long. Actually, one of my first real TV appearances was with you and I together, live at Gotham, 2008.
Oh, wow, yes. And I remember us walking down the street in Chelsea or wherever it was. They had our hotel, but I do remember walking with you down the street. And I remember feeling safe with you.
Yeah, that's what. You know what? Thank you, because I realized it took me so long, much time later now, going through relationships and stuff like that, to realize the first thing I want any woman to feel if I'm dating them or just even hanging out with a friend is I just want them to feel safe.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an important thing to convey, because that's what that's what y'all say. I feel safe. I want to feel safe with you. You know what I mean? So I get it. I'm learning. We're all learning. You know, and then the ladies out there too, don't be afraid to express yourself. Don't put yourself in awkward situations that you can't express yourself. But I also understand if you're in a situation where you're like, I don't think I can say anything right now because this is crazy. So, kudos to you out there. You know, just keep fighting the struggle, and let's hope we can just change the world.
That's right.
One person at a time. All right.
Amen.
Well.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get one.
Yeah, you got to finish with the singing mic. And we'll end with that. We'll end with Anjelah on the singing mic. Turn it on.
Okay, hold on.
Nobody turns it on.
Here it comes.
There it is.
Well. That was my church well.
That's it.
Oh. What did you want? You wanted a whole,
give me some, finish it off. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Anjelah Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the show.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh, nice woo, woo.
Thank you.